Hello and welcome to Pabli. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can automatically generate images using AI just by entering the prompt in a Google Sheet. Yes, it is possible. Using this automation, you just have to enter the prompt of your image in your Google Sheet and automatically within seconds, using DALL-E, you can generate an image using AI and also you will get the link of that image in the same Google Sheet in front of that prompt. So without any further delay, let's begin and let's see how you can set up this kind of automation all by yourself. So as you can see, here we are on Pabbly Connect's dashboard. So Pabbly Connect is an amazing automation and integration platform using which we are going to connect our Google Sheet and DALL-E. And to reach Pabbly Connect's dashboard, you will get a free sign-up link in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can create your free Pabbly Connect account in just 2 minutes. After reaching to this dashboard, just click on Create Workflow and give this workflow a name. Let's say I want to name my workflow as AI Image Generation. Instead of this, you can basically give any name of your choice to your automation workflow. Then it is asking us for the folder of our Pabbly Connect account in which we want to create this automation workflow. So from this drop down, I'm going to select the home folder and click on Create. After clicking on Create, here you can see a workflow is open in front of us. And in this workflow, we can see two different windows. First one is the trigger window and second one is the action window. So triggers and actions are basically those two concepts, those two principles on which this whole automation works on, where the trigger says when this happens and the action says do this. So let's start with our trigger window. Now the idea here is, first we are going to connect our Google Sheet in which we are going to enter our prompt with Pabbly Connect in the trigger window. So that every time a new prompt is entered in our Google Sheet, automatically this automation workflow will trigger. It is going to get started and using that prompt, it is going to generate the image in DALL-E in the next step. Now to connect our Google Sheet in the trigger step, what we have to do, here in Choose App, we have to search for Google Sheets. Just select it. After selecting Google Sheets, in Trigger Event from this drop-down, select New or Updated Spreadsheet row because we want to get the data of the new row or updated row from our Google Sheet. After selecting a trigger event, Pabbly Connect gave us a webhook URL. Now using this webhook URL, we are going to connect our Google Sheet with Pabbly Connect. Now you must be thinking how you can add this webhook URL in your Google Sheets. So to add this webhook URL, you just have to follow the instructions given below over here. So just copy this webhook URL from here and then go to the Google Sheet in which you are entering prompt. So I have created this Google Sheet. The name of this spreadsheet is AI Image Generator. In this Google Sheet, I have created 4 different columns. First one is the image prompt where I'm going to enter the prompt for the image which I want to generate. The second column is of number of images, that how many images you want to generate using this particular prompt. You can enter that as well. The third column is for the revised prompt and the fourth one is for image URL. So after generating the image using DALL-E, we will be getting a revised prompt and also the image URL for the image which DALL-E has generated. So we are going to enter those details in these 2 columns over here. But right now we have to send the data of column A and column B to Google Sheet so that we can send the new prompt which we are entering to our Pabbly Connect workflow. So for this, what we have to do, we will just go to Extensions, Add-ons and click on Get Add-ons. After clicking on Get Add-ons, we will reach to Google Workspace Marketplace. After reaching here, in here Search App, we have to search for an app named as Pabbly Connect Webhooks. And as you can see, Pabbly Connect Webhooks, this add-on is already installed in my Google Sheets. You just have to install this same add-on into your own Google Sheets account and after installing it, just refresh your Google Sheets once. This is a very important step. After refreshing your Google Sheet, here you can see, basically it has given us an option. So we'll once again go to Extensions and here you can see Pabbly Connect Webhooks. And after hovering on Pabbly Connect Webhooks, here you can see this option of Initial Setup. Just click on Initial Setup. After clicking on Initial Setup, this box will appear in front of us. And it is basically asking us 3 different things. First one is the selected sheet, second one is the webhook URL, and the third one is the trigger column. Now here in selected sheet, we have to select the sheet from which we want to send the data. So it is most likely possible that in your Google spreadsheet, you might have created multiple sheets. And the data from which sheet we want to send to Pabbly Connect, we have to select that particular sheet over here. Right now in this Google spreadsheet, I have only one sheet named as sheet 1. That's why by default it has selected sheet 1. Then after that, it is asking us for the webhook URL. Now here in this webhook URL field, we have to paste the exact same webhook URL which Pabbly Connect gave us. So we will just copy the webhook URL from here and then paste it over here. After pasting the webhook URL, and then final thing, last thing it is asking us is the trigger column. Now you must be thinking, what is this trigger column? So trigger column is basically the last data entry column of our Google Sheet. It is basically the last column in which we are going to enter any data. Now here in the background you can see in this example, column D is the last column in which any of my data will be entered. But in column C and column D, we are going to add the image URL given by OpenAI or DALL-E over here. So the column B is the column in which I will be entering any data. So column B is going to be my trigger column. According to your spreadsheet, according to your Google Sheet which you are creating, any column could be your trigger column. You just have to ensure that it is the last column in which you are entering any kind of data. So I'm going to enter column B as my trigger column. After entering trigger column, just click on send test. Now when we click on send test, it is saying us test data sent successfully. This means the data of first row, the data of the first row after headers means the data of row number 2 is now sent to Pabbly Connect. So let's check it. We will go to a Pabbly Connect workflow. And yes, here in this trigger step, you can see we have received some response. And in this response, you can see the data of that exact same row which we had in our Google Sheet. Here you can see the trigger column which we have entered. You can see the name of the spreadsheet. You can see the name of the sheet. You can see the number of images which we have entered, that is 1. And here you can see the image prompt as well. A potato is learning how to use a computer. This is the same prompt which we have entered in our Google Sheets. This means the connection between Google Sheets and Pabbly Connect using the webhook URL is working perfectly fine. Now after this, just click on the submit button, and after clicking on submit, it will give us a message that setup is configured successfully. After this, just close this window. Once again, we have to go to extensions, Pabbly Connect webhooks, and we have to select this option of send on event. By selecting send on event, we are telling this Google Sheet, we are telling this add-on that whenever the data is added in a new row till our trigger column, that is column B, then after adding the data, as we enter the data in column B, instantly, immediately send that data to Pabbly Connect. So by selecting this option, we are notifying this add-on is this. Now after this, what we have to do, we have to basically send this prompt to DALL-E or to OpenAI to generate the image. So till now, the step 1 of setting up this automation is completed. Now let's move to step 2, where we will be sending this prompt to DALL-E. For that, we will just scroll down, and here in action step, in choose app, we will search for OpenAI. Just select it. After selecting OpenAI as the action application, here in action event from this drop down, we have to select the action event as generate image DALL-E. So because we want to generate the image using DALL-E, which is an AI or image generation tool of OpenAI, we have selected OpenAI as an action application and generate image as the action event. After this, just click on connect and select add new connection. Now here we have to connect our OpenAI account with Pabbly Connect using the API token or API key. Now you must be thinking how you can get this API token of your OpenAI account. So to get it, just go to your OpenAI account and from this left sidebar, go to API keys. After coming to the API key section, here you will get a list of all the API keys which you have created in your OpenAI account. And now to create a new API key, just click on this create new secret key button and give this key a name. Let's say I want to name it as AI image generation. And then just click on create secret key button. After clicking on it, here you can see it has just now generated a new API key in our OpenAI account. Just copy this key from here, go to Pabbly Connect and paste it over here. And after pasting this API key, just click on save. And as we click on save, we will see our OpenAI account will get connected with Pabbly Connect. After making this connection, the first thing it asks us is the model, that which DALL-E model we want to use. So in this dropdown, you can see two options, DALL-E 2 and DALL-E 3. So we want to use the latest DALL-E 3 version to generate the images. So that's why I will be selecting DALL-E 3 over here. You can choose DALL-E 2 or DALL-E 3 according to your choice. Then it is asking us for the prompt, that what is the prompt we want to give to DALL-E to generate the image. So we have entered our prompt, image generation prompt in our Google Sheet, and we have received the data or the prompt which we are entering in our Google Sheet in our Pabbly Connect workflow in this trigger step. So here what we are going to do, from this trigger step responses where we have received the prompt, we are going to map this response of image prompt in the DALL-E action step. And the process of mapping is very simple. Simply click on this field of prompt, and here in the drop down you can see a list of all the responses which we have received from Google Sheet of a new image or a new prompt being added in Google Sheets. So out of all of these responses, select the response of image prompt and it will be mapped over here. In this way, whatever prompt we are going to enter in our Google Sheet using this automation, Pabbly Connect will get the same prompt from Google Sheet and it will send the same prompt to DALL-E as well. So we have just now mapped the prompt over here. Then it is asking us number of images to be generated, that how many images we want to generate for this particular prompt. So we have entered this number in our Google Sheets as well. So we are going to use the same process of mapping to map that response to. Just click here. From the drop down from Google Sheet responses where we have received the number of images, just select this response and map it to. Then it is asking us for the size, that what will be the size of the image which DALL-E is going to generate. And here in this drop down you can see a list of different size options that we have. Out of all of this, I'm going to select this size, that is 1024 cross 1024 pixels. So this is the size which I'm going to select to generate image using DALL-E 3. Then it is asking us for the quality, and here we have two options, standard and HD quality. Now I want to generate the image in HD quality, so I will be selecting HD from this drop down. And at last, it is asking us for the style of the image which we want to generate. So what is the style? Let's read the help text given below. Enter the style of the generated image. Note, it must be vivid or natural styles. Vivid creates hyper-real and dramatic images, while natural produces more realistic one, exclusive to DALL-E 3. So if you are using DALL-E 3, you have two options. Either you can enter the style of the image generation as vivid, which is going to basically generate some dramatic images. And if you want to get the realistic images, you can use the style as natural over here. Now because I want to get a dramatic image, so I will be using vivid as the style over here. But this field of style is not mandatory, it's not required. So if you want, you can ignore this field for now as well. But right now I have entered vivid, and after entering all of these details and mapping the number of images and the image prompt, just click on save and send test request. Now when we click on save and send test requests here, it is going to, Pabbly Connect is going to send this prompt, this request to DALL-E, and DALL-E is going to generate an image for this particular prompt. After generating the image, in response, we are going to get the link, the URL of the image generated by DALL-E. And here you can see we have received the response. In this response, you can see we have the date and time in timestamp format, that at what date and time this image was created. Then we have the revised prompt. And here you can see this is the revised prompt given by DALL-E. And at last, here you can see the URL. So this is the URL. This is the link of the image generated by DALL-E for the prompt which we have given. We will just copy this image URL from here and we will paste this image URL in a new tab. And then you can see this is the exact same image generated by DALL-E for the prompt which we have given. So we have given the prompt, we have entered the prompt in our Google Sheet, that is, a potato is learning how to use a computer. And for this particular prompt, DALL-E has generated an image over here. So here you can see using AI, we have generated this particular image over here. Here we have a potato which is trying to learn a computer. So in this way, we have successfully generated the image using DALL-E for the prompt which we were entering in our Google Sheet. Now after this, we will move to our final step where we want to add this revised prompt and this image URL back in our Google Sheet in front of that same row. Now to do this, we will just scroll down, click on this Add Action Step button over here. And this time here in Action Step, we are going to select Google Sheets once again. So we will just search for Google Sheets and just select it. After selecting Google Sheets, it is asking us for the action event. Now here in action event from this drop down, we are going to select the action event as update row. So we will just scroll down and here you can see this action event of update row. Just select it. Then just click on connect and select add new connection. Now previously we have connected our Google Sheet account in our trigger step using the webhook URL. But to update the row, update the existing row, we have to connect our Google Sheets account in action step as well. So we have selected add new connection and then just click on this sign in with Google button. Then just select your Google Sheets account, the same Google Sheets account, scroll down and click on continue. And as we click on continue, you will see we have successfully connected our Google Sheets account with Pabbly Connect in the action step as well. After connecting our account, the first thing it asks us is to select the spreadsheet. So it is basically asking us that in which particular spreadsheet, Google spreadsheet, we want to basically add this image URL and the revised prompt received from DALL-E. So I want to add these details back to the same spreadsheet named as AI Image Generator. So here in this dropdown, you can see a list of all the spreadsheets which we have in our Google Sheets account. So out of all of this, I'm going to select the spreadsheet of AI Image Generator over here. After this, it is asking us to select the sheet. So in this spreadsheet, we have only one sheet named as Sheet 1. So from this dropdown, we are going to select the same as Sheet 1. Then it is asking us for the row index, that what is the row number in which we want to update the values, or what is the row number which we want to update over here. So we want to update these details in the same row where we have added this prompt. Like in the same row, we want to add the revised prompt and the image URL given by DALL-E. So after capturing the webhook response, the Google Sheet new row response in our trigger step, in this response here you can see we have received this row index as well, that in which particular row a new data is added. We have received that response in the trigger step. So from the trigger step responses, we are going to basically map this response of row step in this Google Sheet action step 2. So we will just click here, and from this drop down here you can see the responses of previous two steps from Google Sheet trigger and also the OpenAI DALL-E image generation step. So from Google Sheet step, trigger step, we are going to map the response of row index, and in this way, in whatever row we are going to add the prompt, in the same row, the image URL and the revised prompt will be added. After this, it is asking us image prompt and number of images. So we don't want to update these two details over here. We already have these two details, so we don't want to update any details in these two columns, these two fields. So you can basically ignore these two fields for now. But we want to update the data in revised prompt and image URL as well. So we have this column of revised prompt and image URL where we want to enter the details, the responses given by DALL-E. So one by one, we are going to map the details over here. Now here in revised prompt, here we will just click here, and from the drop down from OpenAI responses, we are going to map the response of revised prompt and it will be mapped over here. In this way, whatever revised prompt the OpenAI or DALL-E is going to give us after generating the image, the same revised prompt we are going to enter in our Google Sheet. And then in the next field of image URL, we are going to select and map the response of image URL given by OpenAI or DALL-E in the previous step. In this way, we are going to just add the same image URL in front of that same prompt in our Google Sheets. And after mapping both of these details, just click on Save and Send Test Request. Now when we click on Save and Send Test Request, here you can see we have received some response. And this response seems to be a positive response to us. This response shows that the data which we have mapped over here for these two fields, these two details are now added successfully in our Google Sheets. This means the Google Sheets row are now successfully updated. So let's check it. We will go to our Google Sheet, and yes, here you can see we have skipped the column A and column B. So both of the details are exactly the same which we have added. But in column C and column D, we have some detail, we have some data. In column C, we have the exact same revised prompt which OpenAI has given us after generating the image. So from OpenAI responses, we have successfully added this revised prompt in our Google Sheet. And also in column D, we have the image URL for the exact same image which was generated by OpenAI. This means the automation workflow which we have created using Pabbly Connect, this automation is working perfectly fine. And using this automation, whenever a new row of data or new prompt is added in our Google Sheet, using DALL-E, we are going to automatically generate an AI image. And we are going to add the link of that image back to the Google Sheet in the same row as well. Now after setting up this automation, let's test this automation workflow once. So let's go to Google Sheets, and in this new row, we are going to give a new prompt over here. So let's say I want to give a prompt as a potato is teaching in a classroom. So this is the prompt which I'm giving. A potato is teaching in a classroom. And the number of image which I want to generate is 1. So just now we have entered these details in our Google Sheet, and we will see within few seconds for the same prompt, automatically a new image will be generated using AI, and the link of that image will be added in the Google Sheet in front of that same row. So let's wait for a few seconds over here. And after a few seconds, we will see the image URL will be added. And yes, here you can see just now within few seconds, we have a revised prompt for the same prompt for the image it has generated. And also we have an image URL in the same row as well. We will just open this link, open this image URL, and here you can see we have an image generated by AI for the same prompt which we have given. So here you can see we have a potato teaching in a classroom. So this was the exact same prompt which we have entered in our Google Sheet. In this way, you can completely automate the process of generating images using AI just by entering the prompt in your Google Sheet, and you can automatically get the image URL in Google Sheets itself. So if you have any kind of doubts or queries related to this automation, you can write us in the comment box below. And if this video was helpful to you, don't forget to hit the like button. So this is it for today's video. Thank you. Have a great day.